actually 2 full years so that they could enjoy this experience to its fullest and enjoy it together with the congregation. We are truly honored by your presence, and we hope that you will be full participants in our service. You should all have received a special prayer booklet for tonight's service. It is also being enhanced by the prayer book, so you can follow along, or you can sit back and just enjoy the beauty of watching our students lead the worship, and together with Cantor Benray and with John, lead us in some extraordinary music and percussions. Of course, Nicole is with us, and you will see some of the talents of our students who are just newly discovered to all of us. So we are very, very excited. Shavuot and confirmation is a very formal night of prayer and worship. And so our students, in honor of the festival, as you will hear why the bima and the temple is decorated with flowers, why they are all dressed in white. And while in just a moment I'm going to open the ark, I would ask that you please remain seated for the procession of our students, as they will bring forward what are known as their Bikurim to the ark and commence with our prayers. Also, we are here to celebrate our incredible seniors who, for us, will be, what can I say, not leaving the nest, but just literally going away for a little while and then coming back often, we hope. And of course, we have 2 special B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow, and they are here to celebrate with us as well. So it's a wonderful, joyous night. So I'd ask, please remain seated as we open the ark and begin our procession music with Cantor.
Rabbeinu Shalom Aleichem.
Rabbeinu Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Rabbeinu Shalom Aleichem, Rabbeinu Shalom Aleichem, Rabbeinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Rabbeinu Shalom
us within our sanctuary and those who are watching over our live webcast. I understand extended family members and grandparents and even siblings an ocean away are here joining us to welcome the confirmation classes of 2021 and 2022. We begin in our prayer booklets on page 2.
Today, our synagogue is ornamented with flowers. The agricultural aspect of Shavuot is celebrated with these decorations, but according to Midrash, Mount Sinai blossomed with flowers in anticipation of the Torah, and the decorations celebrate the nature of Shavuot. Bikurim means first fruits, and as you have already seen, we have placed our flowers by the ark as our offering to God. Our offering shows our thanks to God for all we have achieved, accomplished, and for helping us reach this milestone in our lives. Our flowers represent the blossoms of potential for our futures and what we will do with our Jewish educations from this point forwards. We all stand here today as one, thanking God for all we have been given and all we have achieved, and hoping for a future that continues to blossom like many flowers of spring.
Praised are you, Adonai, our God, who blesses us on this confirmation day. Like generations of Jews before us, we come to this sanctuary to confirm our Jewish identities and acknowledge our responsibility to keep alive and struggle with the traditions and faith of our people. Today we make a vow to our ancestors, our families, and to ourselves. We will engage in Jewish learning and in the life of the Jewish community throughout the rest of our lives. Thus, we will ensure the future of Judaism.
I would ask that the families of our confirmands please rise. And please respond to their prayer. We acknowledge your vow and appreciate the seriousness with which you make it. We pray that we may continue to be worthy helpers to you, sustaining you with love. We promise to help and guide you. Let our ears be open to the words of our people and our hearts and minds to the words of Torah. Let our hands be open to loving deeds, that we may be a blessing to future generations, just as they are a blessing to us. Amen. And you may be seated. Shabbat is welcomed always with the lighting of the Shabbat candles and the blessing of the wine. And to lead us this evening in our blessings, it's a pleasure to welcome forward both the Lader and the Yeager families to our blessing table. As in honor of their sons, Ethan and Brandon, they will light candles, and then Ethan and Brandon will lead us in Kiddush. Please. If you'd like to follow along, it's on page 120, and then immediately following page 123. Ethan later will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning at 10:30. And then tomorrow afternoon during our mincha service, we will celebrate the bar mitzvah of Brandon Yeager. And we will bless now together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'ad
juice? Have some, please. Well, mazel tov, everyone, and we'll look forward to sharing with you. We're going to continue welcoming Shabbat with L'Chadodi. And so on our last verse, we are going to ask that you please rise and face the doors as if we are welcoming in the Shabbos Queen.
You may be seated. We will rise on the 9th verse. So we're doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Thank you so much. But if we can get even half as much participation in the singing, tonight will be a beautifully joyous evening. We begin with L'Chadodi.
Shabbat,
be seated.
Hineni, here I am, Temple Har Shalom, the place I met my first friends in preschool, the one consistent place I've grown up and only remembering snack and nap time. Snack time developed my love for goldfish. One of the things I'm most grateful for is being able to be so comfortable somewhere I know I'm welcomed. Meeting and being able to see people who would also show up Sunday morning and sit through a class when the only thing we thought about were the bagels we got afterwards. The place where we had to learn our Torah portions sitting on the traumatizing bench, being nervous or embarrassed about how our voices sounded to the cantor because we all know her voice is fantastic. During Bat or Bar Mitzvah season, we sat in the sanctuary with friends, being familiar with the prayers. We loved seeing cool to the other people who had no idea how to follow along and being excited to party afterwards. At least I did. Hebrew High, or now called High School, was a place we would eat yummy pizza and absolutely delicious garlic knots on some Wednesdays. And don't worry, I didn't forget the night we ate Chinese food when I stuffed my stomach and developed a food baby. I'm so fortunate to have such great memories here. I've learned to be the best person possible here, and it's thanks to the stories and lessons I've learned here. It's inevitable someone was going to mention COVID and how we didn't get our usual in-person meeting. Though COVID's been a dreaded time, I feel as though it made this class closer, as every week we would have new things to talk about and our check-ins, which would make us stay longer than an hour most days. I also want to give a shout out to all the other people here who make this place so welcoming and free of judgment. It's here at Temple Har Shalom that we create bonds so strong and learn so much that I will forever appreciate my time at Temple. I'm so grateful to be here at Temple Har Shalom.
Hineni, I am here. When I think of this phrase, I think it is that we are present and awake in the moment. And being awake makes me think of my 8th grade English teacher, Mrs. Corley. She made us do things called awake moments. At the beginning of each class, we would share a moment from the past day where we felt the most awake. Awake moments could be anything from seeing a bird to having a revelation about the universe. They just had to be moments about realization. There were a lot of awake moments this year with our studies. It seems like almost every week there was a new current event to talk about. One week we talked about Whoopi Goldberg's comments about the Holocaust. It was a strong awake moment for me. I guess it was the first time I realized how disappointing people could be. I loved her so much. She was in Sister Act, which is one of my favorite movies, and she gave one of the shirts that she designed to a member of BTS, so she gains 100 points there. Even though I didn't know her, it felt like she had let me down. She seemed like such a nice person, but her comments took me completely off guard. I also remember the weeks we talked about the hostage situation in Texas, Ukraine, and one week we even covered the slapping of Chris Rock. There were many awake moments for me this year, and I know that they will continue throughout my life.
Page 146, we rise together for the Baruch Hu, immediately followed by the Shema, and then the Via Hafta. continue with Shema. Seated. Page 154.
Yahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'hol levavcha uv'hol nafshecha uv'hol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elan asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha b'veitecha u'blektecha b'derech u'shavtecha u'kumecha u'shartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'bisharecha Leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Eloheihem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'ot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem.
Hineni, I am here. On a Sunday in second grade, I was spending the day with my cousins and my aunt. My aunt asked me if I wanted to go to Hebrew school with my cousins for the morning, and since I wanted to be around people who were somewhat my age, I said yes. I spent the day in my cousin's class, and to be honest, I really wasn't paying attention. In hindsight, this was my first time in Temple Har Shalom. In fourth grade, I moved from Union Township to Long Hill. This also meant that I'd be changing congregations. I began to attend J school that September, and I remember being very nervous. I knew absolutely nobody because, of course, I was also the only student from Long Hill. I did find it difficult to make friends with people who already had established relationships with each other, even as 9 and 10-year-olds who love to talk, and some things never change. I slowly became more comfortable in the classroom, but I really got to know people during the interim bagel period between Judaics and Hebrew. As I approached my bat mitzvah some years later, I had many more friends in Hebrew school, and I was much more comfortable participating and talking in class. I was able to make myself known in the classroom and show off my knowledge. However, my preparation for my bat mitzvah was the most developmental experience for me as both a student and as a Jew. I felt like I was able to connect with my beliefs and further develop my Jewish identity. I was able to identify with and analyze actual parts of the Torah in terms of how they would impact me. That brings me to Hebrew High. In my experiences throughout Hebrew High, Hineni has been something that was emphasized since the beginning. We just didn't know it. Over the past 3 years, we have been able to speak about a variety of current events, including, but not limited to, the January 6th insurrection, the war in Ukraine, and even pop culture events like the 2022 Oscar-winning fight scene from Will Smith and Chris Rock. Somehow, through Hineni, we were able to make ourselves present in our conversations and in our world. My personal favorite part of these pizza party therapy sessions was how we somehow managed to relate every single event to the Torah or a principle of Judaism. It never ceases to amaze me how Rabbi and Cantor can take these stories that we tell them about our personal lives and give them greater meaning. It reinforces the fact that I am, in fact, here, and so are my grievances and joys many, many years ago. Seeing as our numbers have dwindled over the years, I feel a much greater connection to the people I get to learn with every Wednesday than when I did when I was the new girl on Sundays. Hineni, I am here now as a changed person who has a much greater idea of both my identity as a Jew and as a person. By being present here for these past 7 years, I have also hopefully become a better overall person.
We join now together with the words of Mi Chamocha, a celebration of our freedom, on page 158.
Who I am is made up of where I am from, my upbringing and family, my genetic programming, my life experiences, my personality and opinions, and my values. But break it down further, and I am what I am taught, what I am programmed, and what I am exposed to. That's all very deep and introspective, but what it truly means is that my 15 years at Har Shalom and the people who I have encountered have played a significant role in who I am, and for that I am grateful. My closest friends are from Har Shalom. My mentors and teachers of morality and humanity are from Har Shalom. My religious and cultural guides are here, my heart is here, I belong here, and it's a wonderful thing to know where I belong and who I am. Being a part of this congregation, and this class in particular, has played an integral role in my journey of self-discovery. My congregation is welcoming and compassionate and loving and warm, and encourages me to emulate those priorities and values in my greater world. When we were separated by distance, we were never separated by faith and values. When you belong somewhere, you can walk away for years and come back as if an hour had passed. We kept in touch through technology and spirit and turned 2 years into an hour. We came back and started not anew, but simply completed the last step as if our foot had been in the air for 2 years just waiting to fall. At the conclusion of my bat mitzvah those many years ago, I had to say a prayer of thanks. I will reiterate that same sentiment now. I am thankful for who I have become and those who have helped me on my journey. I am thankful for my congregation. I am thankful for Temple Har Shalom.
We join now with the words of Hashkivenu on page 160.
I am being confirmed tonight to make sure my whole family knows that this weekend is really about me. Sorry, Ethan. I'm really just kidding. Mazel tov. I know you will do amazing tomorrow. After my bat mitzvah, I knew that I wanted to continue my Jewish education throughout high school. I have grown up practicing Judaism through my entire childhood, beginning with preschool at Mountaintop and then Hebrew school every Sunday. I think that being confirmed would be a great continuation of my Jewish education. In addition to visiting the temple throughout my life, I've also gone to a Jewish sleepaway camp for 8 years. Every Friday night at Charles End Camp, we have Shabbat services. These are one of my favorite nights at camp because my friends and I are able to take time out of the busy weeks at camp to reflect and remember what is really important to us. We sing all of our favorite camp-style songs and look forward to it each week. I am here tonight because many do not continue their Jewish education past their bar or bat mitzvah, but I think it is important because you can always learn more about what it means to be Jewish. This year, we have spoken about many important current and past events, some of which I would never hear about in my school. I took a Holocaust and genocide elective at my school, and to my surprise, I was the only Jew in my entire class. It shocked me and sparked my interest in learning more about these difficult topics at Temple Har Shalom. Being Jewish is such a big part of my life, and I am so happy that I am here to celebrate that tonight.
The words of the Shamru can be found on page 162.
Here I am tonight, being confirmed. If you asked me 2 years ago if I planned on being a confirmand, I would have said no. So what changed? Leading up to my bat mitzvah, I remember a lot of complaining about waking up Sunday mornings and fights about going to services. However, in the past year, this has changed. I became a member of BBYO, and the same girl who was forced to be involved in the Jewish community was now signing up for stuff until she had no time left in the day. I went on a BBYO summer program last year for 12 days. It was here where I truly learned what my Judaism meant to me and why I am here tonight confirming my love and devotion to it. Every morning we had a Shachrit service, and Jewish teens from around the country came together as we sang the songs I grew up with here at Temple Har Shalom and chanted the prayers I learned here. And we ate together as a community. I also loved Shirah, where we would sing and dance to the Cambios songs. In addition to that, I realized how quickly I was able to bond with these people because we were all Jewish. I, along with the other teens, realized how similar we all were and the commonalities we shared thanks to our Jewish parents. But the thing I realized during these 12 days more than anything else is what my Torah and Judaism mean to me. I always felt like it was supposed to be defined by the Torah and prayers. However, I realized my Judaism is much more than that. It is also culture, people, and connections I share with other Jews. From New Jersey to Argentina and Japan and all the way back home. Finding this strong connection to Judaism led me to deciding to be confirmed. For the past year, I came here every Wednesday as we reflected on the happenings of the world around us. As someone who follows Stand With Us on my Instagram feed, discussing the increasing anti-Semitism around the world with Rabbi Mismitsky, Cantor Benray, and my peers have been very informative. Being able to discuss my thoughts and feelings with this group has been a privilege.
Our service continues now with tefillah, and you can find the beginning of the prayer on page 164. I would ask that you rise, please.
Adonai, sifatitita, ufiya gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'tocher Chazdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula, V'nei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo, Melech Ozer, U'Moshia U'Magid. Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Abraham, Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atara le'oshia. Mechayel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verafei holim, Umatir asurim, Umechayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umito melech, Melech memit, Umechayeh, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechahayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
אתה קדוש שמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may all be seated.
I'm so happy that I can confirm my belief in the Jewish faith and answer the call by saying, Hineni, here I am. With this personal reconfirmation of my belief in the Jewish faith, I'm continuing the education my parents started for me way back by enrolling me in Mountaintop here at the temple, before it became the Orchard Academy. I have since continued my Jewish education with Sunday school and then with Hebrew high school. The experiences I've had within my Jewish education have led me to the place I am today and have been critical to furthering my Jewish identity. As a class, we've come from different places, but we're all united under the unifying factor of our Machon class. As a class, I believe we symbolically form our own little tree of life. We are connected by the common part of our lives, the trunk, in Machon and Hebrew High. However, we all branch out into our own lives with different schools, different friends, different sports, and different interests. Our class represents the union between different walks of life and different people, all being able to come together and form friendships, connections, and further our Jewish identity. And I've been so thankful for the class and the uniqueness everyone has brought to it. Confirmation class for me has always been a place I felt accepted and appreciated for bringing my perspective, and I think that this idea of acceptance and appreciation of outside ideas is a very large theme in Judaism. Within the Torah, we are told of all the stories of Moses, Jonah, Noah, Rebecca, Jacob, Isaac, and everyone else, who are drastically different people with such different perspectives and stories. However, they all have a story to tell, and they all have a lesson to learn from. I believe that our confirmation class represents a smaller scale of this, with everyone here having different stories and experiences to bring to the table. This allows for everyone to have a story to tell and a lesson to teach.
Hineni, here I am. Today I am standing before you at Temple Har Shalom to reaffirm my faith. After having discussed our confirmation for the past 2 years, I can't believe we finally made it. I have great pride in standing here alongside my confirmation class and talking to you about what exactly being here means to me. A lot of people in the world, as we typically discuss on our Wednesday evenings, do not get the same opportunities we do. being able to get together and connect every week. Some people are fighting for their lives in Ukraine, and others are forced to hide their beliefs because of anti-Semitism. All of us today are lucky to be able to freely discuss our religion in a safe environment, and especially lucky to be a part of the Temple Har Shalom community. Not only do I feel lucky to be here, but I can confidently say Temple Har Shalom has added to my life outside of the temple. Typically, I am a shy, reserved person. In most circumstances, I find it easier to keep to myself. Yet, ever since starting Mahone, I've realized the importance of sharing your opinion on significant topics. Here, I've gotten the chance to go out of my comfort zone and give input on the topics we discuss, like the recent talk on Roe v. Wade and on anti-Semitic acts around our country, like the hostage holding of Jews in Colleyville, Texas this past January. If nobody, whether they were Jewish or not, ever spoke up about the injustice in our world, then no change would ever be enacted. Rabbi and Cantor constantly tell us that we are the future. Here, I've learned that because we are the Jews of the future, our duty to speak up and be here is greater. It is up to us to continue to learn about our faith and educate others on the perspectives of our people. Temple Har Shalom is the reason I will continue to commit to sharing my Jewish identity and is the reason that I am here today.
We take those sentiments and are going to pray now for peace with the words of Shalom Rav, which can be found on page 658. Nope, that is not right. 178.
Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon, Lechol Shalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon, Lechol Shalom. Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Israel, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
If one were to look around our world as we do each and every day through the media and various forms of news outlets, we're very much aware of how broken and heartbreaking the world can be. And yet, if we just take a few moments of our time and enter the doors of our beloved congregation and sit here and listen to our extraordinary 10th and 11th graders, we realize that indeed the world is a beautiful and blessed place, and we are all very fortunate to be a part of it. And so on this Shabbat evening of confirmation, Shavuot, and when we anticipate two young men taking their place tomorrow as B'nai Mitzvah, let us give thanks for our blessings, recognizing our challenges, but knowing how very fortunate we are. We pause for a few moments. I know our hearts are full and our spirits have been moved. And now we turn to the words of Torah as we hand Torah to our next generation who will come throughout the congregation. It's a wonderful chance for them to say hello to their family and you, their friends, and carry Torah as we prepare to hear the words given to us so long ago on Sinai, and here again in Warren, New Jersey, the Ten Commandments. And so I'd ask you all to rise, please.
Shalom.
On the holiday of Shavuot and on this Shabbat, we are reenacting as if we ourselves were standing at Sinai. And so it is here that we listen to the words given first at Sinai before Moses had a little temper tantrum, smashed them, and then we had to get them all over again. But this is the original. And so we are going to be reading from Exodus chapter 20. Our Torah blessers for this Shabbat are Samantha Bander and Maya Clark.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvara.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vaydaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim. Lo yeh lecha Elohim achirim al panai. Lo ta'aseh lecha feser v'chol tmuna asher b'shamayim mimal v'asher ba'aretz mitachat v'asher b'mayim mitachat ha'aretz. Lo tishtachave lahem ve'lo ta'ovdeim ki anochi Adonai Elohecha Elkana poked avon avot al banim al shilishim ve'al rive'im lesonai ve'osei chesed lalafim le'ohavai u'shomrei mitzvotai. Lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav ki lo yenake Adonai et asher yisa et shemo lashav. Zachor et yom hashabat lekadesho sheshet yamim tavod ve'asita chol melachtecha ve'yom hashevi shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha lo taseh chol melacha ata ubincha ubitecha avdecha v'amatcha uvhemtecha v'gerecha asher bisharecha ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz et hayam ve'et kol asher bam vayanach vayom hashevi'i. Al kein barach Adonai et yom hashabat vaykadshehu. Kaved et avicha ve'et imecha leman yarichun yamecha al hadama asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach. Lo tirtzach, lo tinaf, lo tignov, lo tanev reacha et shaker, lo tachmod beit reecha, lo tachmod eshet reecha, ve'avdo v'amato v'shoro v'chamoro, v'chol asher lereecha.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
With the Ten Commandments sounding so beautiful as the cantor chants them with a special chant that is only recited, correct, once a year?
There's a higher trope and a lower trope. This trope is specific for the public reading of the Ten Commandments. And it appears twice, public reading versus the silent private reading, both for when it comes up in Exodus and then again in Deuteronomy.
Well, you would think if it sounded so good like that all the time, we'd all listen to those 10 commandments. And now for a interpretation, it truly is an honor to welcome forward Noah Paradise.
Thank you, Cancer Benway, for that beautiful reading of the Ten Commandments and all of the work that you've done with our class, and especially with the additional music support for this and my sister's Benot Mitzvah as well. Also, thank you so much for Rabbi for being here and being with us for this entire journey, and always offering such amazing teachings and lessons for us. I would also like to thank the parents of our class. You all are amazing. You've helped get us here, especially when we couldn't drive up till this year. I would also especially like to thank my father, Greg Paradise, our new temple president, as you can see on the back of our programs here today. If you need to reach him, it's president@templeharshalom.org. I'm so proud of you and excited to see what you have to accomplish in your term. I remember one of the introductions Josh gave when introducing John Wishnia, our former president. In his introduction, he talked about how temple president is one of the most thankless positions to be held in America. While this is most likely true, I would like to be one of the first people to say thank you to you in your term. I want to say thank you for taking the position, for agreeing to try and better the temple in any way that you can. So thank you. And if you have any complaints tonight, I just told you how to reach him. Finally, thank you to everyone who has helped us through this journey. You've been there for us, giving us rides everywhere, providing us with everything we've needed, like family tree information and so much more. That was just the first thing that came to mind, but now to pivot towards the actual meaning from the Torah read tonight. Today, as some of you know, is Shavuot. Shavuot is traditionally one of the 4 historic pilgrimage holidays, and no, this does not mean that you sail across the ocean in the Mayflower or create a new holiday around a mostly flightless bird. I looked that up, and it found that turkeys can actually fly in short bursts. Just so you know. But anyways, the 4 pilgrimage holidays are Passover, the High Holy Days, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Passover, Sukkot, and the High Holy Days are much more famous than Shavuot and get a lot more recognition. Shavuot is traditionally the grain holiday in which people bring an offering to God of usually fruits or flowers, such as the ones we put in the ark earlier, and that Sammy talked about earlier. Over time, this holiday has progressively lost its meaning and has become the least popular of the pilgrimage holidays. Some of the Reform rabbis, to try and increase the popularity, have decided to use this holiday as a ceremony to help commemorate the newer generation of Jewish learners through confirmation. In addition to Shavuot being used nowadays by Reform temples as confirmation, it is also very important for the Torah reading that is within it. 10 Commandments, which you all heard Cancer recite beautifully just a few seconds ago, before this random guy started talking. But anyway, the 10 Commandments are the 10 most important commandments out of the 613 listed in the Torah. The 10 Commandments are read a total of 3 times publicly in Torah, read twice in regular Torah service in Parshats Yitro and Ve'etchan, and again on the first night of Shavuot, or tonight. So congrats on making it to a once in 121 2/3 days occurrence of the reading of the 10 Commandments. Now what I would like to do is to read the 10 Commandments in English for you, because if you're like me, you probably didn't understand the Hebrew. I am the Lord, your God, who have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not pass, that's Lord of the Rings. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. Okay, now that you've heard the 10 Commandments, and hopefully you were paying attention, because there is a quiz later, but in reality, knowing the right thing is only part of the battle. Acting upon these 10 Commandments and the rest of your Jewish learning and morals is a much bigger part. I personally, with my new knowledge, will try not to covet and be more happy with what I have in general instead of wanting what I don't have. So as I now begin to end, I ask all of you to think about these commandments and the rest of your Jewish or other teachings and really try and act upon these morals and your other morals and do the right thing, because a little bit of kindness goes a lot further than you can ever imagine. Thank you.
help heal our broken world, always when the Torah is in our midst. We pause for the Misha Beirach, a prayer to heal body, mind, and soul. If there is anyone that you are thinking of today and would like to share their name out loud, please feel free to do so. For those known to us and unknown to us, we offer these words of prayer.
Hineni. The Hebrew word simply meaning "here I am" has a much more complex explanation. It indicates an open mind and a readiness to engage. Hineni means being aware of our identities and values to see the future and commit to its betterment. To say Hineni is saying you are fully present in a community. I say Hineni because of my commitment to Temple Har Shalom, which has become such a special part of my life from such a young age. The amazing friends I met here, the inspirational role models, and the lessons I've learned have helped me grow into the person I am today. Temple Har Shalom has kept me grounded through the many stages and parts of my life. This community is truly important and has given me so much, specifically over the last 2 years when COVID-19 impacted all of our lives. I continuously looked forward to coming to Temple because it gave me a space and time to step back from reality and reflect on life. Showing up each week meant talking in depth about new important events, rather that meant the fight between Chris Rock and Will Smith, or more meaningful topics like anti-Semitism, Holocaust survivors, and the ongoing war in Ukraine. Looking back, I've realized that since Mahone started, we have discussed a new mind-breaking topic every single week. Cantor Benray and Rabbi Miznitsky have taught me that our ability to reflect on these events and struggles in our world is necessary. It's important to help make us aware, help us find solutions, and help us see how Judaism fits into each topic. In this case, Mahone has taught all of us about having an open mind and being aware of our identities and values as the future generation of Jewish adults. By committing ourselves to this class, we strive to learn more about our world and discuss even the most difficult topics. Being in Temple each week is such a pleasure because of the true comfort and community it brings to everyone's lives, especially my own. I feel connected to this place and the people here. I feel blessed to come and be present in such a fantastic community. I feel grateful that Temple Har Shalom will forever be a part of my life.
Temple Har Shalom has been in my life for as long as I can remember. The temple has always been a welcoming place for me. I've come in sad and have been cheered up by the warmth of the wonderful people here. I've come in happy and left even happier. The temple has been a place to leave my stress behind, and I'm so thankful for that. When I was just 10 years old, my family and I traveled to Israel with Rabbi Maznitsky and Rabbi Kaplan. My parents explained that it would be the adventure of a lifetime, and in retrospect, they were right. I will never forget climbing Masada, riding camels, visiting the Western Wall, and swimming in the Dead Sea. I also will never forget those Israeli breakfasts. But like most of us up here tonight, the highlight of my time here was my bar mitzvah in 2017. My Torah portion, Kitavo, talks about the lessons and rules Moses gives to the Israelites before they enter the Promised Land. In many ways, these lessons are symbolic of what I will take away from my journey from preschool through confirmation here at Temple Har Shalom. First, Moses tells his people, don't forget where you came from and what it felt like to be there. My temple education taught me not only about the Hebrew alphabet and holidays, but more importantly, to embrace my Jewish roots and honor my Jewish heritage. Moses also tells the Israelites to give some of their crops to strangers because it's important to help those in need. We continue to see how our country doesn't always treat strangers and immigrants very well. But here at Temple, there are so many examples of tzedakah and people reaching out to help others who are suffering. Finally, Moses tells the people that it's a blessing to be kind and compassionate. This is so important today. Many people are suffering with COVID, the war in Ukraine, and the general dissonance in this country. Kindness and compassion have never been more important, and there are many kind and compassionate role models here at Temple Har Shalom. I'm so grateful for all these lessons that I learned at Temple Har Shalom, so here I am. I'm a person who appreciates my Jewish heritage. I'm a person who understands how important it is to help others in need, and I'm a person who has been taught to be a mensch, to be kind and compassionate. I want to thank the rabbis, cantor, and all of the temple staff from over the years for making this such a special place for me and my family. And I want to thank my family for always supporting me. Shabbat Shalom.
It is time for us now to lift and dress the Torah, to return it to the Ark, and continue with the Aleinu, which is found on page 586. Please rise.
Yay,
would ask that you please remain standing as we prepare to turn to page 598 for the Kaddish prayer. Over here.
I am proud that I'm able to introduce the Kaddish tonight because it is my great-grandfather's Yortzeit.
Together with all the generations that have come before us and on whose shoulders our confirmands stand, and for those of our community whose Yortzeits are commemorated as we remember Abraham Adler, Robert Beisch, Lester Edwin, Jack Miller, Paul Shiner, William George Schwab, Hilda Weinberg, and James Weinberg. And we remember those who have died in most recent days during this period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning, as we remember Bernard A. Rausch, Barbara Bash, Eric Matthew Edelman, and Helene Lenny Sandler. And of course, as Americans, we pause to remember the 21 and so many others just today, another 6 who lost their lives due to gun violence and whose lives were cut short. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families, as they are with every armed soldier who has given their life for the land of Israel and our precious land of America. Page 598, the Kaddish prayer.
Gadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, Le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say.
Amen.
And you may be seated. Well, it is my true honor for the very first time to welcome to the Bima as president of our congregation, Greg Paradise, to share with you some words of congratulations and to help us hand out our certificates and gifts to our confirmands. We regret that Lynn Ann Cutler could not be with us as she is still battling illness, and we hope that she will soon return to good health and our presence soon. But I know that she sends her heartfelt mazel tov to all of our confirmands and their families.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. First of all, thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, for putting together this wonderful service of confirmation together. I know directly the many hours that all the confirmands put into this wonderful service we had tonight, and I know both Rabbi and Cantor spent many more hours than that on it. Even though I was confirmed some 35 years ago, just about a year after the original Top Gun movie came out, I did some reading up recently on the origins of confirmation. I learned that it was birthed, as we heard earlier, out of the Reformed Jewish movement of the early 1800s, and was originally set up as a more formal education process where students studied for a time and then were subjected to a public examination. Noah, would you like to come up? And the whole congregation, we can quiz you on your knowledge, maybe of Exodus and Deuteronomy. Don't worry about it. So one of the pieces of presidential wisdom that was passed on to me by our immediate past president, John Wishnia, is to take every opportunity to embarrass your children when making speeches. So tonight being my first official duty as president, I thought I'd start out right. But thank you, Noah, for your words of encouragement and thanks, and hopefully I can live up to it. So today, the confirmation process, as I learned, has evolved away from those traditional tests, so you're all safe. We're not quizzing anyone tonight. And focusing instead on confirmands gaining a greater understanding of Jewish teachings and value. I think we all experienced that success tonight, listening to our very thoughtful and dedicated confirmands. They've each undertaken the traditional aspect of confirmation and confirmed their faith in Judaism. We hope you all remain active and involved as adults, as adult members of our congregation for many years to come. It was nice hearing how welcoming and happy this place is for you, so we hope it stays that way and you keep joining us. Well, since our 11th graders at least had to wait 2 years for this moment, we have 2 gifts for each of you from the congregation. First, we have a car mezuzah to protect you on your travels. I think the 11th grade parents at least can relate to the need for this right now for all of our new drivers, and 10th grade parents just wait, it's a trip. Second, we have a new room mezuzah in preparation for your first home away from home, which will be college in a few years. And of course, as Rabbi is always very careful to include, we have a sweet treat for all of you. Can never go without that. So we hope you all also join us after the service as a special oneg to celebrate this proud occasion. So how are we supposed to do this now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, does Cantor come help us and call them forward? Oh, well, Jen, please.
And standing in for Lynanne, my wife Jennifer, who's a member of the Education Committee. So.
Wonderful. How wonderful. So Sammy Bender? And Maya Clyde. Abigail Cohan. Sophia Later. Remember, it's all about you, Sophia. Madison Landau.
Oh, here's Madison.
And Jasmine Maida. Aaron Opel. Noah Paradise. Jacqueline Silverman. And Rebecca Silverman. So lovely. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And the class itself has put together a gift that it wants to give to the congregation as an example of who they are and what's important to them.
As a class, we've had many different ideas for what we wanted to leave as our class gift. Over the past few years, we have discussed many different topics of which we felt very passionate about. However, the one that has made the biggest impact on us, especially in lieu of recent events, is gun violence. The recent increase in gun violence in schools and other communal establishments across the country, whether in Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, or even right here in Warren, New Jersey, has made us all more aware of the flaws in our country's firearm regulation laws. This is why we decided to make a donation to the Brady campaign. As students in America, we've all somewhat experienced a sense of danger in a classroom. This can look like many things. It can be a thought of, what if this happens in my school? Or even a sense of genuine fear during a lockdown drill. We stand with the sentiments of the Brady campaign that with proper firearm regulation, no student, staff member, parent, or employee should ever have to feel unsafe in their places of education, worship, and work. The Brady campaign is a nonprofit organization that fights to end gun violence and advocates for proper gun control in the United States. Their goal is to decrease gun violence by 25% by the year of 2025. They plan to do this by expanding background checks on almost all gun sales and transfers, ensuring that there are stricter laws and rules concerning a person's eligibility to purchase firearms, and making sure that gaps in the system, such as the boyfriend loophole and ghost guns, are eliminated. We are extremely grateful for the opportunities that Temple Har Shalom gives us to express our concerns and take meaningful action, and we hope that our donation can help contribute toward change to make our country safer.
Well, I know I speak for Cantor Benray and myself when I say the most important word we've learned on this Shabbat is a good Yiddish word, kvel, because we have been literally kvelling all night and all year at not the lessons that we've taught, but most importantly, the lessons that we've learned from being in the presence of this extraordinary class. And I want to thank you for the gift of your children, for the gift of our ability to learn from them, grow with them, have fun with them, eat with them, celebrate with them, and celebrate the joys of being Jewish. And so a special blessing for them now. Would you please rise? May God bless you and keep you. May God shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God grant you now and through a long life ahead until 120, the spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, as we all say.
Amen.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
It was our hope tonight to also offer special prayers for so many of our seniors, both high school and college, that are making their ways to their very next adventures in life. And I believe, as we have always taught here in Temple Har Shalom, it's not the numbers that come, it's the quality that shows up. And indeed, there is one here tonight that has extraordinary qualities. Ryan Shiner, would you please come forward representing all of our seniors? He is part of a group of more than 25 of our teens that have been extraordinarily dedicated to our congregation as madrichim, as members of BBYO, and as just extraordinary students and confirmands, and so much that has meant so much to us. And I mean it sincerely, Ryan, when I say you are the very finest of the quality. We don't need anyone else to be here. Just as your sisters before you, we are presenting to you and to your other classmates, many of whom are at prom tonight, with a tassel that we hope you will wear at your graduation. It is blue and white to signify the Jewish people that we hope will always enwrap you. And it is to remind you that you are bound not only by the incredible education you have received both secularly and religiously, but like the talit, the tzitzit, may you know that you are bound forever to the Jewish people who are so proud to call you one of our own. Mazel tov. And of course, something sweet. And tefillat haderach.
May you be blessed as you go on your way. May you be guided in peace. May you be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
And now it is a pleasure to welcome forward Meredith Landau just to wish some mazel tovs to our families, and so that we can send you all off to both the Califer lobby and the atrium to enjoy an extraordinary surprise Oneg Shabbat.
Hi, I'm Meredith Landau, a member of the Board of Trustees and president of the Sisterhood. I'm so glad that you have joined us for our service this evening in person or virtually. I want to extend a mazel tov to the Lader family, whose son Ethan will become a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning during tomorrow morning's Shabbat service. I also want to extend a mazel tov to the Yeager family, whose son Brandon will become a bar mitzvah during tomorrow afternoon's mincha service. Mazel tov to all our confirmands and their families, as well as to all the seniors and their families. I want to highlight some of our upcoming events. You can perform a mitzvah this Sunday, June 5th, by donating blood at our Red Cross blood drive. This is taking place from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. There are still open donation times. To register, to just go to the Red Cross website. Lifelong Learning is having a tour at Greenwood Gardens next Wednesday, June 8th. There is still time to register. You can find information on the temple website. The best places to learn about our temple events are from your weekly e-blast and on the temple website. We look forward to seeing you at next Friday's Shabbat service at 7 p.m. Shabbat Shalom.
On behalf of us all, I just want to extend once again a huge thank you to the entire class for your wonderful words, for your spirit, for your kindness, your opinions, and your thoughts that have uplifted all of us. And I personally, and also on behalf of the congregation, like to give a special thanks once again to our musicians this evening, Abigail Cohen, Jasmine Mehta, and Noah Paradise. You have uplifted our hearts and our souls, and we are very grateful.
And what is that special oneg that awaits us? Well, if you continued your reading and studying of Shavuot, it is the dairy holiday. So what could be better than every kind of joyous, delicious ice cream that we could find from Good Humor? And so they are all awaiting us. They are all nut-free, and so that everybody can enjoy all of them. And so to send us on our way, Ethan, Brandon, get up there and unveil that challah. We'll take a quick bite, and then the class will exit, and all of us, please join us in both of our lobbies. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, v'teirav enjoy it. Class, if you would please rise and make your way out.
Simmen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmen tov. Yehelanu, 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 u'lechol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Yehelanu, yehelanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.